Hi and welcome to Run Tall. I'm Tim. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate the time that you and I get to spend together, so thanks for tuning in. And I hope wherever you are, that you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of the Hoka Bondi X.
This town's so lame, I'm feeling so wired. It's 4 a.m., I'm not even tired. We're in your car, we can drive away. Oh, yeah.
The Bondi X has a new upper, new midsole, and a wider landing platform. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, we're going to talk about all those changes and more. So be sure to stick around.
We're almost there. I'm loving this feeling of something new. Just right what I needed. Take me there. We can drive away. Oh yeah.
If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Run Tall family. I'm really glad you're here and you found us on YouTube. Now I post running shoe reviews, comparisons, and shoe battles weekly, but I also like to post other videos that are related to running as well. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos about running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now these retail for $165 US. I did purchase them with my own money. So as always, you're getting a completely unbiased opinion. Now I ordered a US men's size 9 and for me, they fit me perfectly. I have just that thumb's width from my longest toe, which for me is my big toe, to the end of the upper. Now Hoka has a stated weight on their website of 10.8 ounces for a US men's size 9. On my scales, they came in a little bit heavier than that. They came in at exactly 11 ounces or 311 grams. These are a neutral road shoe. They're considered to be a max cushion shoe. So let's start with the midsole. Here you've got a huge stack of midsole foam. As you can see, now Hoka describes their foam in terms of spring measurement rather than stack height. And here they've got 37 millimeters in the heel and 25 millimeters in the forefoot. So in other words, your heel sets off the ground 37 millimeters and your forefoot is 25 millimeters. So that's the spring that they're trying to measure or report here. They have a 4 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Now it's a little bit deceiving because you can see just how high this foam is. Well, that isn't all foam that you're standing on. Your heel is right about at the start of that white layer of foam. And then your forefoot is about where this first ridge is. So that's basically where you're standing. And this is not unusual for Hoka. Oftentimes they do bring, especially up around the heel, that foam up just a little bit higher. So your heel kind of sets down there. It gives you a nice feeling, a nice stable ride. So let's take a look at the geometry of the midsole. And here you can see that they've extended out the heel just a little bit to give you a larger crash pad for those that are heel strikers to make that transition from your heel through to your toe a little bit more smoothly and to absorb some of that impact as well. Now they do have that early stage meta rocker still. That feels pretty terrific as you roll through your gait cycle. And then as I flip this over, you can see that they did narrow up here in the midsection of the shoe over last year's version, and they widened up here at the forefoot of the shoe quite a bit. This is even wider than their stability counterpart, the Gaviota 4. So you've got a nice stable landing platform up here in the forefoot of the shoe, and it's very noticeable. Now, if I flip this over, you can see just how wide that is. I mean, you can really get a sense when you're looking from top down. Now, I've had these on a couple of different workouts, including a recovery run and an easy run. The recovery run was about 40 minutes. The easy run is about 50 minutes. So definitely still a first impressions video. And I'll do some additional videos later on down the road, reviews of these shoes as I log more miles in them. But it might take me a little while because right now I'm right in the middle of a marathon training block as I prepare for the Detroit Free Press Marathon that's going to be running mid-October. So be sure to join us over on those videos. I'd love to have you join the conversation there as well. So as I continue to train and I run different workouts, I can really only rotate these in on those slower workout days. But that's okay because that's exactly what they were designed to do. And that's to log in some easy recovery day miles or maybe go out on that easy run where you want all of that impact protection, all of that comfort to give your legs a little bit of a break from those harder workouts that you may have completed earlier in the week. They do run pretty comfortably. I did find that there was a sweet spot for me, and that was pretty much landing right at that start of that meta rocker design that they have here. And if I flip these over, You can see where there's a little bit of wear on the midsole material here that's not covered in rubber, because that's about where I was striking the ground, and it felt pretty darn comfortably there. And it was easy for me to get into a rhythm where I could log quite a few miles pretty darn comfortably, and that's really what they're designed to do. They're not a fast day shoe, so they're not a great all-arounder, but as a recovery or an easy day shoe, I think they do a great job. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole. See how they're protecting all of that midsole foam. And here you can see that they have what they call zonal. So it's not covered from heel to the toe, but in specific areas that are going to have ground contact. And I think they did a good job here. You know, this shoe already weighs, like I said, 11 ounces on my scale. So we don't want to add any more weight than necessary, but I think they did a good job in putting it where we're going to need it in order to increase the durability so these shoes are going to last for us. Now the upper is an engineered mesh. As I mentioned, I do feel like it fit me true to size, so the length was spot on. They do run a little bit narrow up in the toe box, especially on the lateral side of the shoe. So I did feel like that was pretty snug up against my foot, but it didn't cause any hot spots. So I found it to be really comfortable for me, but I don't have a particularly wide foot. So if you do have a wider foot, you might want to consider ordering maybe the wider version of the shoe if it's available for you. So let's take a look at the eyelet chain. Now here, the lace enclosure system is pretty standard. There's no wow factor here at all. They do have that extra material around the eyelets to make sure that it's going to be durable, that your laces aren't going to rip through it all. And they do have that extra eyelet up here in case you want to run with a runner's knot. Now I do like to point that out because not all shoes do. So let's take a look at the tongue. Now here it's got a heavily padded tongue and it's semi-gusseted. And when I say semi-gusseted, I don't mean it's gusseted halfway up. It just has one gusset on one side, which is a little bit unusual. But I noticed they did the same thing in the Gaviota 4. So this is a trend that Hoka has moved towards. Not sure why they're doing it. It doesn't bother me. It seems to work fine. I didn't have any issues with the tongue migrating around at all. And I never felt the laces cutting across the top of my midfoot either. Looking at the padding around the heel collar and the tab, you can see that they have a generous amount and it's memory foam. So it's really comfortable. I didn't have any kind of hot spots at all around the collar or the tab of the shoe. And it rests mainly towards the top. So it creates a nice heel pocket for your heel to set in. And I didn't have any heel slippage, either up or down or side to side. It felt really stable and comfortable. So let's check out the heel counter. First thing you're going to notice is that they did include a pull tab, just like they did in last year's version of the shoe, although the direction of the pull tab has changed from horizontal to now vertical. And then as I put it up on my shoulder and give it the pinch test, you know, they've got a lot of structure back here, so it's a lot of resistance to help hold your heel in place. The one thing that I did notice is you can see how puffy it is, so they have some extra padding on the outside of the heel counter, which I think question, why do that? It's just adding weight to a shoe that's already a little heavy. And Hoka added an ortholite insole, which they did in last year's version of the shoe as well. But you can see just how thick that this is, so it definitely adds just a little extra cushion to an already max cushion run experience. Overall, I think these are a good choice for a recovery run or maybe an easy day where pace isn't necessarily a concern, or maybe you like to walk run. I think they'd work good for that too. Or people who spend a lot of time on their feet and are looking for a little extra comfort. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Run Tall with Tim.
This town's so